What's up, you guys? Welcome back. We are at a competition this weekend. This is Hot Pit Round 5. We've competed in 3 other rounds throughout this year. We've done pretty well. We're at Orange Show Speedway. It's a layout you guys have seen us drive plenty of times, but today, no Supra. We're with the 370Z spraying nitrous today. The Supra is back at the shop because we have a Grid Life event in a few weeks, and we have SEMA that the Supra needs to be at. So it's just not worth wrecking the car, breaking the car, having something happen, and not being able to fulfill those activations in the next few weeks. So 370 it is. This round at Hot Pit, there is a lot more FD drivers that are here. There are a bunch of Pro 2 cars, I think even some old Pro 1 cars, but the competition has gotten a lot more stiff and is much different than what it used to be. So it is pretty cool seeing some familiar faces in cars that you guys probably recognize. We're going out for our top 32 right now. We're going against Josh Stewart. Fun fact, we actually lost to Josh like 3 years ago at a Top Drift event when I was driving Selena. So this is gonna be my redemption. We have to work with what we have. We have to carry our momentum. We have to put down a really solid lead run. He has a Corvette, so he has the power, so he's gotta stay on our line, stick it to him.
What's that?
I don't think it's in the cabin.
In my eyes.
Yeah,
Hurts a lot.
Beautiful on 4. Hole 4. 1 correction on the bank. Missed outer zone 2. That's it. His chase, again, we'll go back since we watched your lead more so. He had to make an adjustment in chase because of yours. Good proximity, but not amazing.
No, I mean, he definitely
It was a
had
good.
proximity.
It was a good
I'm not
chase.
arguing that.
It was a good chase,
I'm
but your
just-
lead was good. Now let's watch your chase. I'm gonna focus on his lead first. Let's focus on his lead. Only watch his lead. Good distance off wall. Sorry about that. I'm assuming it was mid 2. If that were a wall, he would have smashed it. Pretty good on inner clip.
Are you kidding me? The dive? There's no points added for the dive?
I'm telling you,
fucking
focus on his lead. So his lead was a good lead, and now we're gonna watch your chase. Dive in, stick to his door, and you don't leave his door from that point. Not through the power alley. Amazing transition. Tipped back in. Stayed locked on his door. Closer than his, in my opinion. Blasted. Bumper to bumper, still on him. Bumper to bumper, still on him. Dive in. Locked. I, totally non-biased, would have said bare minimum. One more time.
One more time.
One more time.
Judging has been absolutely shit.
I'm
this
gonna
round.
be totally honest, we've done shit this entire round. They've been really rewarding odd components of driving, not driving, but more so smoke, loud noises, horsepower. Yeah, I don't really know, man. It's just like I don't know. I want to watch what I say, so I'm just not.
I know. That was a fucking terrible call.
I think that they're
Just
just
69 on qualifying, which we didn't even talk about last night. Which
every other
driver.
driver has stated, dude, I don't know how you got a 69. Dude, what the fuck? I don't know how you got that. That was way higher of a qualifying score than that. TJ got a 69. Don't fucking know how. I admit a lot of
I'm
other
usually
cars,
top 5 qualifying.
Yeah, your driving's exciting, but like it's not as loud. It doesn't make smoke. Blah blah blah. It's not as
It doesn't make
fast.
smoke in the chase. There's just as much. I mean,
I'm just saying that they, from what I've seen, is they clearly choose cars and drivers that make a visual impact, and that's not something we can do with the 370. Even if you're driving like a fucking madman, which you were. Hey, no fault on your driving.
You got Stevie Wonder and Helen Keller fucking judging up the box up there, apparently.
Is there drifting going on? Which one? Yeah, number one.
it's been a couple days. It's been a few days since the event, and I've let time go by so that my like emotion and frustration and anger left, so I could, I guess, talk about what happened or give my thoughts on it. Because I know in the moment, I said a lot of things. I was really frustrated. I know Dylan and Ian were both frustrated, so I didn't want what I had to say to come across jaded, I guess. Well, jaded as in like
What were we frustrated about?
the call that we got at Hot Pit.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna be like, dude, I don't remember yesterday. None of that stuff matters, but I remember that.
If you want to be on camera, you got to come over here.
Yeah, we can't show what's over there.
Yeah, I remember it. That's it. I remember it. I forget most things.
Should I mention that we talked to a judge?
Yeah,
And the judge said what judge said?
I think it's important in a good way. I think it's important to note that stuff because it looks good for us. It looks good for them.
Okay.
It's important.
This isn't going to be edited.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Well, So I'm trying to use my words wisely here.
Uh-oh.
The call that was made against us, we obviously didn't agree with. We spoke with the judge an hour after we got knocked out, and we were just like, hey, like, can we chat with you? And we pretty much ran the situation by him, and we showed our lead for lead. We believe that our lead was better, and then we showed chase from chase, and we also agree that our chase was better. The obvious viewpoints, if you want to go back in the footage, is, and the stream didn't show it as much, but we have other angles and stuff. The chase car on me from leaving the touch and go and from going through the power alley, both chopped lined heavily to get caught up with me. There was a two car gap, let's call it, that was created. And that car obviously has 500 horsepower. Very easy to catch up to me. So a line was chopped to catch up, and if you watch my chases, I never left big gap. I ran a shallower line, but I wasn't chopping line to catch up. I never let more than a half car gap go. So just chase for chase, we think that was better. But the judge said that the reason why they docked me so heavily was because I touched the wall. Now, in all of my rounds of getting podium at that series, at that layout, at that track, and on all of my qualifying runs that I've also done, I run the wall 90% of the time. And when I say I run the wall, I mean I come in contact, whether it's light dragging or a light bump, and then I stay on line, I stay committed, show commitment, and stay on the wall. Some judges have different viewpoints, and that's the style of drifting. Some people don't like you to touch the wall because they say, no, you're offline. Some say, if you got on the wall, but you stayed on the wall and you stayed in drift, they're okay with it. There's no denying the fact that me hitting the wall caused me to have a correction in line, and then I recorrected. So me hitting the wall, I'm obviously saying that, yes, I agree that me hitting on the wall caused an upset in my line, wasn't the correct line, but we're arguing the fact that I hit the wall, stayed committed on throttle, and ran the entire wall and filled the zone. Shouldn't have negated his lead being better than mine, because he missed other zones.
The argument on the judge's perspective was which is understandable, was that it adjusted the line to the point of having the chase driver adjust to the lead driver, right? And so that was the docking in points. The question on our end more so was there's not a clear delineation between 0, 5% docking, 100%
Which
docking.
they didn't, because that's
what we're saying is that there isn't a clear zone between hitting the wall or not that's a certain amount of docked points. So in some judges' eyes, it's a 0. Dude, that's it. That was the worst part of the run.
Which
it's
he
docked.
even said, we
That's-
didn't count it as a 0.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, if we didn't count it as a 0, it should have been a one more time.
They're trying to
Just based on my lead to his lead to my chase, they were both better. The only area that could have docked me was the wall tap.
correct, and that was the agreement that he's like, hey, I see your point after watching these views. Right.
Yeah,
The
he
only
said-
thing that matters is the judge's view, and for all intents and purposes, unless we debate it, which there isn't any debating. Which
So then it goes back to the series. The judge said that the series encourages them to hurry up with their scores so they can keep the show going. Which, if this were FD, we would have the opportunity for a protest, and there's no protesting available in this series, which can harm drivers in certain situations like this one. We 100% would have protested that, and the judge we spoke to said, you probably would have won that. You would have won that protest. You would have at least gotten it one more time.
Bare minimum.
And we would have been able to stay in the show and move on. So this isn't the driver's fault that we're driving against. Josh is a homie. I've driven with him before. He's a great driver. And I wish that he went on and lost the next bout, and I wish he would have won that for us. Would have made me feel a little bit better. But it's frustrating when the call doesn't go your way, especially in the moment. But that's drifting. That is what it is, but I wanted to at least include this to explain what had happened so you guys get an understanding of the call that was made and the hand that we were dealt.
the frustration is, for me, the fact that the series wants to be loose in some ways, which is fine. I get it. Adams, things like that. It's a little more for the show. That's totally fine. It's still competition. I have no problem with that. But then in other ways, they want to be very legitimate and have a set of rules to follow and criteria to judge, etc. So what they need to do, and what we talked to the judge about, is defining that criteria a little better. So in situations like this, they can follow that criteria, or we can. Because if I would have known that hitting the wall would have been a 0 or a really low
I
score
would have
point,
been staying
I-
way off
I
it.
would have just told TJ, don't fucking touch the wall. Don't touch the wall, TJ. That would have been it.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have touched it. The line would have been better.
And
there
that,
it is.
and that was kind of our angle too. Is with that car, we know it's the slowest car. We know it's the most boring car. That's why they gave us a low qualifying score, because this is not entertaining. So they're purely judging off of like, hey, we need to. We take it as like, they need to see more out of TJ. They need to see so much commitment that it gives a wow factor compared to these guys just with loud cars. So in that, on my leads, we know we're like the most consistent driver there. So
Make it gangster.
we throw it on the wall every time, and that's kind of like, that's always kind of been like our weapon, our knife to the gunfight is like, our leads are going to be 10 out of 10 and they're going to be up on the wall.
That's how you get the wow factor.
That's how we get the wow
That's how you
factor.
get it.
And I've never been docked for that to this degree ever before in any of the series I've done with them.
So
but now today, all of a sudden, now there's a bunch of pro cars there, and the show is just perceived differently.
It
So
used to be judged on a driver and car basis. It was almost a sliding scale. So like Spencer, when he would drive 200 horsepower, stocky 36M3, running door with Sam making 600 horsepower, they would judge according to the car that he was driving and give him not leeway, but like, we understand that he has to have a shallower line because his car is slower. He doesn't have the grip of the horsepower. That sliding scale is going away, and that's fine. But again, that criteria needs to be updated, and that's it.
And that's the thing. It's like, yeah, we're not complaining. Clearly the answer is, TJ, stop bringing such a slow car. I know you're gonna be like, just LS. I know. We didn't drive the Supra because we didn't want to ruin it for an event that we have in 2 weeks. Like, I know the car is the problem. We're aware of that, but we've never been judged with that type of angle before. That we felt like we got judged this time, which ended up costing us the loss, and I think that we could have won that event, no problem. So, it's not us complaining. The answer is just get a different car, or don't hit the wall, don't mess up. Ultimately, it was me who hit the wall. It wasn't the other driver who hit the wall, so it's my fault. But I just wanted to get that explanation, and it's important when it comes to drifting, and as a team, it's important to understand what gave you the minus points so you can use that information to not make that mistake again in the future. It's very important to understand what went wrong so you can better yourself as a driver and as a team.
And that portion, it's frustrating on the series for the first portion of it, and the misjudgment, et cetera, that's frustrating. But what I do enjoy is the judge coming over and wanting to discuss this and better himself as a judge and the series, so we can all communicate together and grow drifting as a whole.
Yep, we loved that. Okay, enough complaining. Clips channel, I'm sorry, we haven't been here in a while. We've been really busy. We're filming 2 videos a day
LS swap everything.
for all this stuff we're doing, and we're not gone. I know you're probably like, what the fuck, TJ? I know. I'm sorry. I'm coming back. Clips, you guys are more important than anything. We're coming back. I love you. See you in the next clip.